Should we start the same
No.
place? Or?
Yeah, go ahead. Start at the same place. From the time from the time you met me, from the first phone call.
Oh, I remember when I first met you, bro.
Yeah.
You know. Well, first let me back up, man. Thank you for making the drive, bro.
Oh, you're welcome. It
Yeah.
was 2 hours.
Yeah.
What 2? Well, yeah, 2 hours.
And you know, and I know you say that this is not your forte, right? The whole speaking thing,
Yes.
and you get nervous but I'll tell you, I couldn't tell that when I first spoke with you.
Yeah.
I still remember the first time that you did call, and you were referred to me by another mortgage broker, and I'll tell you what you came across at, right? What I heard was one of these real estate realtor experts, sort of like you were on it. You were on it, on it, on it, on it. Little did I know that you had just started real estate.
Rookie, wet behind the ears. Yes.
Could not tell whatsoever, man. There was no nervousness coming across at all. I felt like I was dealing with, a realtor that was going to be probably aggressive. This is just like the initial first couple of seconds, and then by the time I got off the phone call, like, man, that's a nice guy, and I felt like I felt the energy of your heart after that first just initial conversation, Then not much later, the year ended and you were rookie of the year in the county.
And yeah, I think it was more of within my team.
Yeah.
yeah.
Rookie of the year.
Yes, I was rookie of the year.
But you don't come from a team of 3 people. You come from a pretty, from a
pretty good,
pretty successful team.
Yes,
in,
very good team.
down in Sebring. So,
Yes.
and it feels like your success has just carried on. But I knew you after that call. Who was Jose before real estate?
Who was Jose before real estate?
Yeah.
Jose before real estate, I was a father. I was a person in my community that just loved helping people.
Mm-hmm.
And before I got into real estate, I had an unfortunate accident in my life, and
Like a car accident?
it was a work incident, and
Gotcha.
I was in a coma for a while. When I came out of that coma in 2015,
How long were you in a coma?
it was like almost 30 days. And when I came out of that coma, I had to learn how to walk again, and it was a whole ordeal for me, And it got to a point in my life that I got really sick. I had to end up getting surgeries, and I had 2 young twin boys. My son was older, and I saw myself, at crossroad in my life, and I was like, oh my God, what am I gonna do here? And and for many years, I often wondered, what am I gonna do? And here goes. I have a nephew that's in real estate. I have a cousin that's in real estate. I have an uncle who's a really
How long
from the time
from when you came out of the coma to
to do real estate, it was
Yeah.
almost 9 years.
Oh, wow.
Before
Okay.
I actually got interested in it, got interested into start doing something. And the reason why I started getting into it was because I saw, I'm limited. I was limited, with my disability and stuff like that. I look all right, but I have problems. It is what it is. But my kids
that I was never able to tell until you told me, by the
Yeah,
way.
okay.
Like at all.
So I do have I have 3 younger kids. I have a stepdaughter she's my daughter. I mean, I love Jocelyn. She's everything to me. She's part of the air I breathe.
Yeah.
And I wanted show my kids that at this age you're able to study something, do your business, because really real estate, everybody thinks about it as a job. It's not. It's a business. And so I thought of something I could do. I saw how my cousin's successful, both my nephew's successful, my uncle was successful with it. Maybe let me try this, just so I could show my kids that after 50 you could do something and be successful at it.
Mm-hmm.
At least to show them a pillar, they could step on. and that's how I got into real estate.
That okay? That's
It was
it's a
more,
pretty important thing there
yeah.
because I went through my reinvention, bro, in this thing when I was like in my 40s. I was in my early 40s. I've I had built a semi-successful medical equipment business that we still have, you know. Um, but it it's kind of because you don't really feel old. I think sometimes, like I don't feel my age. I'll be 50 next month, and I just don't feel it.
I feel
But
it.
it's a risk because, but it's a risk at the same time because I don't. It's a risk. Maybe in about 30 days I'll feel it.
Okay.
But but it's a risk because there's so much at stake when you make one of these pivots.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying?
It's really scary.
Yeah.
Um, part of this journey, I was extremely overweight. You
Yeah.
know, I was at 300 plus pounds.
Pre-coma.
No, pre-coma, I was in my, no, this was after.
So after the coma.
After, because it was, a lot of the medicines I was taking, I
Okay.
wasn't really mobile. I had to learn how to walk. It took me almost 6 months. It was a big ordeal.
Yeah.
So I let myself go for many years, and I tried to do the best I could with the health I had. You know what I mean? So I had some medical intervention.
But you were a business owner before that, right? So,
I was. Yes,
Okay.
not only that, I managed many sales
Gotcha.
companies, business management.
Sales background.
Yeah, my background is 30 years of sales.
Gotcha. Okay.
But I was a business owner. Also, can't say it was $1 million business, but it was good.
Yeah,
I was okay.
yeah.
I was all right.
Yeah.
I gotta say that I lost my train of thought.
Sorry. Let's keep going with it.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna just push you that way. I'm just these are just curiosity questions on my end, bro. By the way.
Okay, I'm actually here. I got my train of thought back. So when I had this medical intervention, I was able to get a gastric bypass. I lost the weight, and that helped me. That was part of my I started feeling better, and my mind got a lot more clearer. I stopped drinking. I don't drink as much as I used to. It's my whole life changed, and as your mind gets clearer, you know exactly what you have to be focusing on. And my main focus right now, of course, is family and community.
So and you had some examples of people that were in the industry, so it felt like what
Yes, and
this is a way to show my kids.
That's exactly.
This.
So all three of our kids, now we have a empty nest now.
Yeah.
But all three of them are, I think all our kids, they all are pretty okay. They're okay. They work, they go to school, that they're not out there clubbing or wasting their time and wasting their money. They're all trying to live young adult lives.
And they're proud of that.
They're not using drugs. At least we don't know. Yeah. But we think that they're trying to do the right things and being responsible young adults. And I think that all comes from our household and family.
You remember your first deal after that?
Yes, I remember my first deal as a real estate agent. After Tanya Bobe from MBNA Realty gave me the opportunity to start in her team. Actually, the one who got me the job was my nephew, DeAndre Perez. He's a realtor also, 10-year realtor. But Tanya gave me the opportunity, and in our organization, we're pretty much tight family, in there, and
she seems to be running a really good team. Her and her partner,
her and Chet run pretty. I think you met Chet recently, but they are very responsive towards their agents. If you're slacking, she's on you. And I think that she gave me enough string that she let me be myself, and she let me. I don't have to follow a sales script.
Yeah.
She let me be me.
Mm.
And I think that was a big part of my first deal was after I didn't feel like I had to, follow a whole sales script and whatever, which sales scripts are good. They are a great tool, a great learning tool. But once you start being yourself, I was able to have a gentleman in my community give me the opportunity. You know, and he had
How'd
so
you
many
how'd you meet
agents.
him?
Um, in All right, so let's backtrack a little bit.
Mhm.
In the community I live at, right? There's a lot of people that just they need help with translating. Some people need help, help with digital, signing with email, even sending an email sometimes.
Mhm.
Times are changing, and technology is you know it's, is holding some people back,
Yeah. Yeah.
and sometimes even just the their ethnic backgrounds.
Mhm.
So
Because you deal with a lot of Hispanic.
I do a lot of
women.
Hispanics, yeah, and they were just inquiring with one of their friends somebody who I was trying to sell,
Mhm.
and they said we'll give him a shot, and literally, we sat down, we had this conversation, and I said, well, if you give me the opportunity, let me show you,
Mhm.
how hard I'll be able to, how hard I'll work for you, and little did I know that during that process, I showed him value, I showed him I cared.
Mhm.
I wasn't one of those realtors that he calls at 9 o'clock at night. I didn't answer. I did answer. We sat down. I mean, we hugged. You know,
Yeah.
um, it meant a lot to me,
Yeah.
and that just fired and inspired me
What
to help
surprised you
somebody else.
most about that process? If any, did anything catch you like,
You know,
like
yes. During that process, not only did I have my team helping me,
Mhm.
I met an extraordinary realtor from another brokerage. So they're our competition. I'm not gonna, throw the name out there, but um, she helped guide me as well. She said, "Look, take it easy. This is your first deal." And I was honest. I told her yes. And she's like, "We're gonna do this together." And she offered me that olive branch, and I do the same thing now. I pass on that branch.
Mm.
If I need to help a fellow realtor, I do. I help them.
I've seen that in action with you.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can attest to that.
I think that it's not. I mean, we're in this, of course, to help fund our families, help our families out, right? Um, but the main reason why I did this, number one, is my children.
Mhm.
Number two is my wife. She's a great person, and she had an unfortunate incident as well during this process. Um, but number three is my community,
Mm.
and my community means the world to me. And in any which way possible that I could help put a smile on somebody's face, I do. A child, anybody that has the opportunity to have their first house, to call it a home, that's important to me. That's what drives me.
And from that drive to rookie of the year,
Yes, sir.
that doesn't happen by accident, right? It doesn't happen by
It's
accident,
blessed.
right?
It's blessed.
So what sort of you on a personal level, what routines, what's your day to day like that made that happen?
Okay. It takes time. It takes dedication. It's how people always talk about mindset.
Yeah.
Well, this is life set. You need
Mm.
to wake up every single day, and you need to hustle. And what I mean hustling is, don't go out there trying to get that 10th deal or ninth deal in one day. Concentrate on the 2 to 3 leads you got now. Concentrate on them. Give them your time.
Yeah.
You have been part of that situation that I've had to go grab emails, grab people's paperwork, print it out, go to Office Depot, send it for them, go to my house, scan it for them, go to the office.
10
So
o'clock at night, you sending me
yeah, it's
10,
so
11 o'clock. Yeah.
so that's it's dedication.
Was that so to succeed in that? Was there a difference from what it was to succeed with your previous?
Well, every something I learned very early
Mhm.
on, even way before real estate,
Yeah.
way before my business, way before everything.
Mhm.
Um, I have always started at a spot anywhere you work at, right?
Mhm.
You cannot try to go manage a company or try to run a Fortune 500 company when you're coming in at a mailroom position,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So I've always learned that everywhere I go, you stay quiet, and you learn.
Mm.
You do every day you come into work, you put your best foot forward.
Mm.
And that, by me learning that, is what, now as me working this, it has let me know that, every day you have to learn to improve. I
Yeah.
think that answers your question for that.
Yeah, no, it does, bro. Like from like and it makes all the sense in the world, because I have like some extremely aggressive goals this year.
Hmm.
And my biggest takeaways have been that the reason why I don't already have them, it's largely because of me,
Yeah,
you know?
it's your life set.
And because it feels, it's almost cliche, if you want something new, you got to try something new. You got to do something new, It's just like, but that's so real. If I want to, you know, I would say work 4 days a week instead of, 7 days a week, then I've got to be extremely intentional with everything in my life. I've got to be so focused, wake up. And that starts from waking up right.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That every day is focused. Yeah.
Yeah, you got to wake up at the right time. That time, no matter what time you ended up going to sleep last night, you got to wake up at the right time. Personally, I go through a devotion time first thing in the morning. Some kind of learning time whenever I can. I don't do it as often. I'm on my weight loss journey. Probably 65 down at the moment. With another, good Lord, who knows how many left to go. But it didn't happen because I set a quote unquote weight loss goal in a sense, or I had this wish about it. It changed because every day I just decided to do something different with my habits that I was just so addicted to,
Yes.
and you know, waking up at the right time, starting the right way, getting exercise, even if it's a walk, whatever it is for me, and then starting at the right time, and then being intentional with the rest of my day,
Exactly. Yeah.
you know, and I know that I haven't got the things I want completely in my life because I haven't changed some of those things.
Those habits.
You know, it's a constant improvement because once you get successful or once you have some level of success, sometimes the first instinct is to change or relax a little bit. You deserve a day off. You deserve which I'm not saying you don't, but you know what I mean. You start getting laxadacious a little bit. You
Yes.
start those things that got you there, compromising here and there, and then all of a sudden, boom,
Yes.
you can end up right back in the same kind of slump. And then what do you have to do? Go right back and do what you should have kept doing.
Consistency.
What things are in your day to day, like what things are not compromisable,
Okay. Non-negotiables
non-negotiables?
is let's see, the main thing every day when we wake up is my wife and I, we pray.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes I wake up around 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning and I start my day.
Mm-hmm.
When I start the day, first thing I do is I open up my laptop and I start looking through my clients list. I at least devote the first 2 to 3 hours every day to whatever they need to do, whatever they need help with. They're busy too. Remember, this is our business, right? So,
And I know because you texting me at 7 a.m. sometimes, but it's
they-
all right.
this is our business. This is our business, but they all work.
Yeah.
They all have 9 to 5s or 7 to 3s, right? So any which way I can help them, I help the clients out. Not only that, I got my own personal things I got to take care of. We got, between my wife and I, we got 7 kids. So
7?
yeah, between us.
You skipped that part at the
Yeah,
beginning.
yeah, so
it's pretty important.
And they're all adults, but
Yeah.
anything that they might need or
Yeah.
any type of worries my wife has.
Yeah.
My wife is a damn good mother.
Mhm.
I don't think I could say that, but she's a great person, and she's when you take those hours and minutes of a day and you having to spread out with all of us between all of them, right? it just reduces the hour to 30 minutes that
Yeah.
you have to, for me to start working on my own things
Yeah.
to do our business. And when you throw in a community, and I don't have a community of just 5 or 6 people,
Yeah.
I help out hundreds of people a day.
Mhm.
My phone is constantly going out because my community is my family.
Mhm.
And that includes everybody from MLO officers
Mhm.
to my real estate partners
Mhm.
to my neighbors
Mhm.
and their families, you
Yeah.
know? And so when somebody says, Jose, well, you look so busy, it's because you know what? My heart is in helping.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, people. There's days that people don't understand how I get 80 phone calls in a day.
Yeah. And
Literally 80 phone calls. There's my missed call or my all calls or like most of the time are from today.
yeah.
By the end of the day, I can't look back my call history from 3 days ago. I remember when those days when I could.
So, you asked me what's my non-negotiable right now, it's coming to my head. I don't have any non-negotiable because my life is to live.
Mm.
I don't have a non-negotiable. Now, you just threw that question out there.
Mm-hmm.
And my life is to wake up every morning and is to work. And everything in my life is non-negotiable right now.
Mm-hmm.
I just cannot answer that question.
Yeah.
What's your non-negotiable? Because it starts from waking up.
Yeah. Yeah. The whole your life, what
Yeah.
you're living.
Yeah.
Yeah. That was a So you're dealing with all these people, with Hispanics. I'm with you. Okay. It's a different, I would say, kind of market.
The Latino market
Hispanic.
it's extremely difficult.
Yeah. Yeah.
A
lot of habits are different.
Yes. Habits are different.
Money habits.
Money, yeah. Money habits, attitudes.
I have all my money.
A lot short-tempered.
I have all my money at the house. Habits.
Yes.
You mean I can't?
You said it.
You mean I can't do this cash?
Yeah, you said it. Okay, I have great. They have. Some people have fantastic credit. They have great. Great income, but sometimes in order to qualify for some houses, you need to have a history.
Yeah.
And to have that history, you have to have money in the bank. You have to have reserves.
Because a lot of I don't know if it's just an our people thing. I would just say it. I would say our people because that's what I know. They work. They come from where they come from, the different countries, and they are I don't want to say under the table, but they're they're not financially savvy in this country. They don't know. They don't know, and it's because they don't know.
Yeah, I think a lot of people that I deal with, because not only are they Hispanics, I have other other friends who they just don't trust the banking system
At all.
And they don't trust it, and there some people. I have some people who are like. The preppers, and they're like, forget this.
Yeah.
I'm not putting no money in no financial.
Well, where you live? I didn't think about that. You live like in Sebring, yeah. So,
trust me, I got stories. But
at the storm shelters, the hurricane.
So they say, Jose, I've got $20,000 here.
Bro,
a briefcase open up in front of my face, and I'm like, wow, I cannot do nothing with that, buddy. Put this to the side. I can't use that as a down payment.
I live in Mount Dora. In Mount Dora, we have an actual one of these nuclear bomb shelters. And I guess it was from the Cuban Missile Crisis time when that's what my understanding is, but they actually have bunkers in Mount Dora, like real missile sort of things.
People actually buy those throughout the United States, and they turn them into some beautiful homes.
These are houses. It's crazy, but yeah. So they have a lot of different habits, and from not just how they, sort of report income, how they work, how they get their income.
Yes.
And then what they do with that money. I mean, I got people that may get paid electronically and pull it out immediately and put it in their house.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
They have their safe.
Yes.
So they have, these are regular. I'm a W-2. I work at, whatever corporate location, but my direct deposit, boom, I drew, and I'm like, why'd you take all your money out? I always take my money out. What?
When
And we've had,
yeah,
oh
I
my
think
god,
I think that's all part of education. Like,
yeah,
once I have
yeah,
one, one thing I was taught when I started real estate was when you start this process and somebody's going through the whole pre-approval process,
mm-hmm,
let them know from then. Look, listen, you need to have a money trail.
mm-hmm,
You need to have W-2s,
yeah,
and with all this, that you're gonna have to sacrifice for 30 days. I don't want to see you with a new pair of earrings and a gold chain and a
yeah.
motorcycle. I don't want to see that.
And my one of my
It's all
quote
about
unquote
education.
one of my quote yeah, and it's like I guess I love educating, right?
Mhm.
So
Yeah, I've seen your video. We actually had a session with a client that you went through the whole education stuff with them. That was
with
pretty cool.
I love that. I love that. So every nugget I get from every transaction, I try to implement that education to the next transaction, but to teach the people, and so sometimes I'm going off on a tangent and I tell the clients, look, I might just start talking and I'll just go off
Yeah.
and feel free to pull me back at any time and tell me, Carlos, look, just bring me back there, you know? But most of the time, I would say probably I haven't had anybody yet tell me, no, I don't want to know. Because people want to really know
Yeah.
about what this process really is.
Exactly. You know what? I prefer, even personally, and not even as a professional or business owner, I prefer to be more educated than undereducated.
Yeah.
And if it's like if you hand me a Tesla
Yeah.
today and hand me a key card, right, and walk away, how the hell am I gonna start that car up? So I gotta hold that by the door, open the door up, right? And my true falls, right? And so
I don't know. I don't got a Tesla.
neither do I. But I was handed. My friend has 5 of them, and he said, "Here, borrow my car," and I stood there for about 5 minutes trying to start it.
Bro, oh my God, that's so funny you say that. So I remember the first time. So I'm when I first moved to Orlando, I had the only thing I guess I knew how to do. I was selling you sales and sort of marketing, right? That's really the only thing. So I was selling I was selling advertisement to car dealerships over the phone, like packages, like the key in the tube. I don't know if you got the key in the tube or the, that you get a mailer, right? So those mailer campaigns, and then me and the team would go to wherever we sold the campaign to for a week, and we'd help them sell the cars because it's you make in a week what you normally do in a month, right? So that was, and I don't even remember how I got here at this point.
Teslas, bro.
Tesla.
Oh yeah. So the owner of the company one day he sends me to run. He sends me to go get us lunch, and gives me the key to his Jag. Brad, he said I could drive the Jag. I was like, woo! It's like one of those XK8, I think, or something like that. It's a convertible Jag. So I get in the car, bro, and I 5 minutes, bro. I couldn't figure out how to turn this thing on, but I was too embarrassed. I'm like, man, I'm not gonna go back in there. Cause everybody in there is making money, I'm the new broke kid that they saw something in, like,
I could just imagine. I could picture it. YouTube University. How you start a Jag?
No, there was no YouTube. I wish I don't even think YouTube was. It was like 2006, something like that. And I'm like, man, how in the world do I start this car? I'm looking, man. Right now, I don't remember if I ended up going back in and asking y'all how you start this car, man.
You just walked to Starbucks, picked up the stuff, and came back, right?
I was ordered by the Millennium Mall. Hilarious, bro. Angel Cortez, that was his name. Angel Cortez was the owner of that, man. I don't think I ever went. I think I figured it out after a few minutes, and I don't think I told anybody that story. That's hilarious.
That's hilarious.
And I'm over here pulling open a Jag, don't even know how, man. But anyways, oh God. So, what are some of the biggest misconceptions that like our community has with regard to the process?
With our community, or just in general?
In general,
In general, well,
your community.
well, okay.
because I think it's more like your community, and that's what I mean with like where you are, because the same misconception may not apply to somewhere else. But
One thing it happens again and again and
mhm,
again and again. Every single person, every single family, you're just like a fingerprint. You're different.
mhm,
You know, not everybody is the same. So every time you're trying to get a pre approval or a loan, get it, go through the conditions, and just to get it right.
yeah,
Everybody has their own challenges. I wish that our clients would stop listening to their five cousins or the three uncles that purchased 20 houses before them. Everybody's completely different. The process is different.
yeah,
Your financing is different. You might not qualify for a conventional, you might not qualify for FHA, or you might have to go through some type of investment type of loan. Just move into a property. You might have qualify for a VA. There's more loan options that there are languages. I think in the world. You know what I
yeah,
mean? So that's where in this industry your value is building trust.
yeah,
So that's when you have to let them know. Let me give this to the financial guy, and let them trust you guys.
yeah,
You know, and if anything ever blows up or whatever, that's where I sit down and we talk. Let's look for different options.
yeah.
I know that you're one of my main financial people that we go to, but
Should be his
I
preferred, but
well
that's a whole different story.
because
I'm playing. I'm playing.
yeah, you might not have all the options.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
The
yeah.
next,
It's a joke, bro. It's a joke.
But I
Relax,
still have to
relax.
say it. I still have to say it. But so that's one thing with the process. I wish our clients could just start off like that. Stop listening
Yeah,
to everybody around you. Let's do things right. And it all starts by building a relationship
yeah,
and then trusting your realtor, trusting that professional that you have in front of your face.
yeah. So that's the not trusting what you tell them.
Yeah, because
And it's crazy because most of the time, it's very rare that like a first time home buyer comes to me and has the correct knowledge of the process. They'll have like bits and pieces, that they've put together, but then more often than not, the vast majority is just so far from what actually is
yeah,
because of that, because there are so many options. Options don't always mean good.
yeah,
you know, and options don't always mean right now.
hmm
And when I say options don't always mean good, what I mean by that is options don't always necessarily align with your goals.
yes,
As a buyer, you know, um, I don't personally like it when people stretch themselves too far.
hmm
On what they're spending on a monthly basis. One of the things that I respect about you.
Give me a second. I gotta laugh. I don't know. Something just popped into my head. Yeah, it's about a certain client.
As a story?
Yeah, yeah.
You gonna share the story?
No.
You don't want to share the story?
No. See it. Something popped into my head.
Oh boy! Man, so those are stories we need, man. Right there, that funny one.
No, because that would get me in trouble.
It's not always I've seen it. Like I've had conversations with real estate partners, right? Realtor partners, or realtors that I was in a transaction with, right? Because sometimes a client comes to me already with a realtor that I've never worked with, right?
Yeah.
But the clients are adamant about just using me because, you know, I'm part of a pretty awesome community that is always referring me business, right? Um, but it's because of what you're saying. You build trust where you are.
Yeah.
really build trust where you are. Shout out to Dan the Wolf, who it just really he says fly your freak flag, man. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
He says fly your freak flag, man. And it's like, yeah. But anyways, we'll talk about that in a different place. But I lost myself again. I shouldn't have drank the.
You know,
It was really important what I was trying to say too. I was feeling it.
Could I see? There was a certain topic in there I wanted to see. I'm sorry, Dan. I know.
no.
Man.
This is part of it. All right, so we can do a break here. You're talking about. All right, so it was the humor story kind of there, and then. Okay. Being yourself.
That's the one.
Trust.
It was the story. Oh yes. The loan options, the different, so they'll come with just the bullet points of things that are real, but to get them sometimes to understand that the things that are not accurate, sometimes it's like pulling teeth. They're adamant about it. You know what I'm saying? And it's like, look, I'm telling you, like, I've got guidelines, and they also, I've got to be right with the facts. Because they have to trust me when I'm also talking to them about their budget.
Yeah.
So, sorry, I want to get your thought on this, man. They have to trust you on the project. They have to trust you on their budget, right? Mm-hmm. So, yes, you can qualify for a home that costs this much, right? But, this is probably what I would recommend because I'm seeing everything that you got going on in life. Mm-hmm. We're having conversation about what's going on in life and your goals and all this. And I hate it when people just scratch it all the way to the max. You are someone that I respect a lot because you're not always trying to chase the most expensive house for the biggest commission check.
Yes.
You, like, I've seen you, like, literally in action telling me this is not going to work for them. This is just not going to work for them. It is not going to work for them. I know. I've seen their family. You know their families. You know their children, man. Mm-hmm. And you take all of that stuff into consideration. And I really appreciate that about you, man.
I think
because it is different. That's not common.
No, it's because they say you pre-qualify for $425,000 home. When I look at that, I say, you could have a $400,000 home, but really, with the way things are, you can get the same type of home for $250,000, $300,000.
Yeah.
Stay within reason because we don't know what's going to happen next month.
Yeah.
The banks are lending you money on a property that not for 30 years. They need to understand that's not your home. This is your living. This is your shelter. Mm-hmm. But for the next 30 years, there's a lien on that property. And I don't want to see nothing happen to you, my friend, or my client, that you're going to lose that home that you have invested so much money into. And trying to pay off $400,000 home in the long run after financing, that might be $600,000-$700,000. That's money you can put into your kids' college funds and into bettering yourselves, And I'm not one to steer no one in any way. You could buy whatever you want. Mm-hmm. And I tell all my clients, look, I'm here for you, but if you want to hear when you're trusting me with one of the biggest decisions in your life, you need to please trust me when I say, think about it.
Yeah.
When I say just think about it, I'm not saying you got to do this or you have to do that. Just think about that decision.
Yeah.
I've been guilty of me doing that decision. I have purchased cars. I have purchased stuff in my life that I really couldn't afford. I paid for it afterwards.
So we, you're right. So we go from them, you're basically just being you. People are recognizing you. Your hard work. You're working hard. You bringing the clients to the pre-approval. You're getting through that trust process, and then you get them to your favorite lender, Carlos Medina, shameless plug. But you get them to whichever lender partner if they didn't already come with one. But now you get into the market. What's from your perspective, what's the biggest misconceptions clients have when they are now boom, shopping.
Okay. That this is a very difficult process. Home shopping, not every single home is the same either. So there's when you want to look at 10, 15 homes, that takes a lot of time. I always say choose 5 homes. Sit back. I mean, don't think about it too long because whatever comes out in the market, remember the market's shifting now. There's more inventory out there. There's bringing a lot of more people back into the market. And a lot of people are shopping. So you might see something today that's going to be gone tomorrow.
Yeah.
You know. So I say, look at 5 things. Look at 5 homes. Make a decision, or talk with your spouse or whoever's going to go in conjunction with you. Make the right. See what feels right and make a decision with 5 or 6 homes, not 10 or 20.
Yeah.
Because with those 10 or 20 homes, by the time you circle back, you're gonna be, you're gonna feel some heartache.
Yeah.
You're gonna be sad
Because
you
the
didn't make
home
off.
that you could have.
And I just recently just went through that. Just let you know that they got an awesome home, purchased a beautiful house, but the one that they really wanted
they waited
was
too
gone
long.
the next day
Mm.
after we looked at it. Oh yeah, it was a beautiful home, and so but they still got an awesome home. But
But you sell a lot of properties too. You're not just like buyers. You sell properties too.
I list properties also. When I started, it was more of a buyer's thing. When you start real estate, it goes in steps,
Yeah.
right? And so I started with the buyer on the buyer side. Listings are its own different animal,
Yeah.
because when you're in the buying side, that is gaining trust. That is going with that client, showing them their properties. When you're listing something, not only are you trying to sell somebody else's property, but you got to gain their trust too.
Yeah.
I've gained 2 clients. I am actually co-brokering properties right now for 2 clients, some 2 investors that they not to mention names, but they went through an experience that they list their properties, and they want their property sold, but when you have a realtor list your property, they have to show you their value. That's where our marketing comes in. That's when
Yeah.
we hold open houses. We do every single attempt to sell your property, and so when you, so yeah, I list, and on the
And you do. Yeah.
I lost myself there. So I list properties, and I also help buy properties.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
I stumbled right there.
no, but so then you got the which one do you think sometimes is the more difficult client, or do they both have like their own level of like
Well, if well, it all depends on which angle you want to look at that question
that?
as. Right? But they're each are difficult, but when you are treating like in a personal level, it's harder. It's harder for the buying client going with the buyers, because it's a lot of emotions behind that, and so it's not only let me try to get this commission check or stuff like that. It's not that, you're dealing with emotions, you're dealing with family,
Yeah.
you're dealing with not only what the mother and father or the young person trying to buy their first house, or the young investor. You're dealing with the whole process, all their feelings, everything that's going on with there. I have
What's a good story you connect with?
a good
on that?
story I connect with. I have a pair of young investors. These people are really young. When I say a success story, these kids started when they were 19. And not only when they were 19, these people, they came into this country. Actually, I'm sorry, let's reverse this. They were 20, but when they came here into this country, they came in with looking for that American dream. Well, they did. They found it. They got good jobs. Legally, they did everything properly. And then they went in and they purchased their first home. And they actually purchased their first home with my nephew. And then they contacted me, and I sold them their second homes. These kids just turned 21, 22 years old. And, to see this type of will behind them. It's incredible to me.
Wasn't it with you that yeah, I think it was with you. We did a transaction and they they had been here exactly 2 years. I think they were Cuban, and they had it was with you.
Which one? Yeah, yes,
Yeah,
yes.
yeah.
Because it was
They
a
were,
couple
they
of my
were
clients.
yeah. These ones they were from Cuba, and they were here exactly 2 years, dude.
Yes.
And they had saved. There was it was a couple. They were I think they were young if I remember, and I we're talking literally 2 years.
Yes. This.
They had their visa, all that.
Yes.
Because didn't we have? Was that man? You deal with a lot of those stories, man.
Yes.
Because I remember a different one that we did that
Yeah. There's a
it
lot
was
of them.
yeah. So 2 years here in the country, saved, really lived a modest life, and already bought their first home. Just literally 2 years
I've had
of W-2.
I have 6 customers, 6 clients that I've helped that way. They've been here 2.5 years. You know, of course, the FHA's rules changed a
It
little
changed.
bit.
I had to do one with you that right in the middle of that change we
Yes.
had to pivot.
You know, it's.
You remember that one?
Yeah. I
That's crazy.
I help my clients look for their best options. You know, like I said, we not only are they clients, they're after this, it's building a relationship. These are stories that will last for years.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, I personally I care so much about this.
Yeah.
You know, it's not about money.
Yeah.
You want to be honest? It's not about money. You know, what drives me every day to do this is number one. You know, it's I don't mean to get a little personal here, but what drives me to do this is it's my therapy.
Mm.
This comes from my heart.
Yeah.
I don't need to do this. You know, anybody could do anything to support me. I mean, support yourself. I could go get a job making $16 an hour, or doing work part time at a flea market. It doesn't matter.
Mm.
What I'm doing is it's my want, it's my need, and my need is helping people. My need is that's not even what the way I want to say it.
Your need is to serve.
My need is to serve and to help people find their success in life.
Mm.
You know, I'm trying to find mine. So, in this experience, I don't know if you guys ever saw the movie Jerry Maguire.
Yeah, of course.
All right, so this is my qualm. That term doesn't exist, but his qualm means his life, and this is me. Like my friend says, find yourself organically, and that's what I'm doing. Right, Dan?
That's really it. My goal, and I keep saying it, is every day to wake up and become more me. Because we were created so beautifully. We were created, honestly, in my eyes, I believe we were created to be great.
Yeah.
And the only reason we're not, or in the only ways we're not, are in the ways that we're not just being us.
Mm-hmm.
That we become, that we put another layer on the onion.
Yeah,
And the more we peel that onion back, the greater we become.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like every day, that's what I chase.
Yes, absolutely.
So, and because I know the me is a person of excellence. I know that the me is this person of integrity. I know that the me is this person that can be relied on. I know me is the person that you can trust. That's who I know me to be.
I'm sure you always go poke your nose in anywhere in my community, and I've always have something going on.
Yeah.
If it was about making money, I pressure wash driveways for $10. I've been there. I have cut grass. I have worked at Save a Lot. I have done everything I can to help support me and my wife. And that's especially these last several years. It's been pretty hard on us, But one of the questions I think you had for me was, what's my life past, beyond transactions?
Mm-hmm.
And my life is setting up a community around me that everybody could eventually whatever we do, whatever I put out to help them out, they could put it out to help somebody else out. I personally do think that as us being humans, I mean, we all have to help. I don't want what I want to say is I don't want to offend anyone, but people are getting to the point that they're living they're they they're not helping the next person out. You know, we're here for a reason.
Yeah.
And our job doesn't matter what it is. At the end of the day, you're gonna die. You know what I mean? So try to live your best life. Be your best self.
Mm-hmm.
Be your best self for your neighbor and your community. You know what I
Mm-hmm.
mean? You know, it's one thing I can't stand and I hate is if I go make a $2,000 commission check and I walk out somewhere, you know, I don't know what that person right there sitting down there that is trying to look at a menu and is trying to order the most inexpensive thing
Yeah.
because he worked 40 hours this week and his rent is $1,500 this month and he can only spare $20 for 2 weeks to give his kid an ice cream cone.
Yeah.
And that eats me up alive.
Yeah.
And I think that's a part of us humans. We're forgetting that.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
So, you know, if I could do
Yeah.
something to pay back, I've been fortunate enough. Like I said, I don't need to do this.
Yeah.
But if I could be fortunate enough to help alleviate those type of situations, that's what my part of being successful. I don't know how this is all going to tie in
Well,
the future, but
Well, you have a desire that we were talking about here earlier. You know, about something that you want to do. You were telling me earlier about some
this
really
goes-
interesting,
Yes.
and I'm down, by the way.
Okay.
But that
See-
goes right along with exactly what
But we're
you're talking about.
Yeah, something my wife and I were talking about, and it's all about giving, right?
Yeah.
And it's all about growth, and part of growing our community, and when I say community, is I say everybody around us, right? Some of us are in really good positions in life, and you know what? You worked hard and great, be there, awesome. But we need to help each other like the way the Bible said, right? We have to treat each other like brothers and sisters, correct? You being a really strong Christian, somebody really respected in your community, right? Is that we have taken ourselves out of that, over the last I don't know how many years. But the thing is that I have a concept, something I want to put into play. I don't know how we're going to do this. I don't know how I'm going to do this. But I am going to go on camera and say it, I want to take one of my commission checks and push it forward. Push it forward to help another family. Basically, when I do a closing, I would like to grab all of my commission check and help somebody out with it. Or put it in a foundation where another realtor wants to do it. Let's put it there. Some people need closing costs. Some people need a little help paying for an inspection. Let's do what's right. Let's help relieve the burden of somebody who's only making that $10 an hour or $15 an hour.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? It's not all about us having our riches, and I might be criticized for that. But at this point, I don't give a damn.
Will be.
I don't give a damn.
Who cares? You will be. It don't matter.
And I want to do an organization. I want to do something that we could help out and be bringing partners. This is helping out the community, but also producing growth.
Yeah.
Because when somebody's going to be out there saying, "Who helped you out?" This organization did, and they did everything they could to help me achieve this.
So, what what advice would you give to like a new agent coming into the game?
Start a new agent coming in,
And I know that you are a new agent.
I am a new agent, but
but
coming in,
yeah, like
stuff I would have done different.
Just got licensed.
Just got licensed is get yourself organized.
Mm.
Because without this much time in your day, you're gonna fail.
Mm.
You need to make those phone calls. You need to put. Unfortunately, your those leads or those lead whoever whatever your lead generation is first. Those Netflix sit down and chill movies, you gotta forget about that for now. You gotta forget about watching Netflix. You gotta forget about Hulu turn. You have to forget about playing dominoes.
Not even Domino's, bro.
No,
On Saturday,
you don't have to take that time. Yeah, that might be the only time you can call somebody.
Yeah.
That might be the only time. God, I'm famous for bringing a pizza somewhere, sitting down. Unfortunately, let's talk. And if they could organize, there's the newer agents. You want to get your first 2 leads, go through the contacts in your phone. You have 2 friends. I assure you have credit and enough money for you to get a house. So my advice is go through your contacts, organize your time, and get yourself with a good brokerage that will put the training in there. Because there's nothing worse than going somewhere and getting fed into the wolves, and you don't know how to even look into your own MLS. You don't know how to do nothing. I was fortunate that I have a team that backed the hell out of me whenever I need it.
Because to make it, you got to be a bod, and a bod is always be on duty. I remember when in the Army, right? You do PT in the morning, right? Then you go to chow, then you go work whatever it is that your sort of job was for the day, right? But you had formation in the morning, and then before you dismiss for the day, every day you have formation at the end of the day, right? So that's at 4:30, depends on whatever time they were releasing everybody for duty. So the whole company gets together, you're released for duty, right? And I got in trouble in the Army because I thought that meant I was released for duty. But in the Army, you're never off duty because you're always a soldier. You know what I'm saying? And in this industry, it's a bot. You're always on duty. Like you always, it's 5 o'clock. I'm clocked out, and I'm somebody at dinner, a social gathering. That's your work. You're always on duty.
It's funny you say that because in the military you wear a uniform, right?
Yeah.
I have shirts made, which I think you see my shirts. Yeah. My shirts has a QR code right in the back of it. And there's nothing more than I love to do than walk around into Publix. Yeah. And I walk into Walmarts on purpose. Yeah. And there's nothing more awesome than somebody saying, hold on a second, let me scan you. And they scan me, and like 2 weeks later, I got a phone call. Even to ask a question, just to ask the question, what do I need to do to get started? Yeah. Because on my shirt, it's a little B that says, if you're looking to buy a house, call me, scan me. Yeah. So they scan me. And even to ask a question, of course, I treat everything as a lead, right? But I try to get the information, but if the little nugget they need is call a lender or look at your credit first, pull a free credit report, see where you at. I did my part.
I have some that I'm doing that I'm plugging. Like somebody's gonna take my idea because people bootleg and they'll come up with their own anyways, or a variation of it. It's a shirt that I'll be wearing soon that says your favorite lender's favorite lender. That's
your favorite lender, like it.
Because it's you're always on duty, brother. You're always on duty. Now,
could I add one more thing?
You can add as many things as you want.
All right, one more thing I want to say to the beginning, to the realtor who's coming in. It's true. You're a bot, like you said, but you're always on duty, right? But you got to give yourself some time to reflect. Yeah. You got to give to yourself that day or time. I am guilty of this. That as personal experience, I start at 4 o'clock in the morning. It could be 12:30 in the morning. I'm sorry, and I'm still going at it. And I haven't been able to separate that time yet. Bro, I'm a very hands-on person with my in the industry, and so I need to start chopping that back.
I'm gonna ask you a question. Yeah. When can you not get a hold of me?
I get you at any time.
No, that's not true. Think about what I'm asking.
Because at least me, I send you a message.
Yeah, but are there certain times of the day or certain days that you're like, you know what?
Okay, well, early in the morning.
Not
yes,
on Wednesdays. Okay, when I'm serving the youth at the church.
That's right. Okay. But
And on Sundays when it was my worship time,
but you
or
answer me on Sundays.
yeah,
Yeah,
but
with
you
emergency
know, no, but what I'm saying is that
Yeah.
it's not like a regular,
Yeah.
you know what I'm saying? Because and another one for both of us as well is the family times.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? That we, so yeah, we understand the mornings because you understand like the time blocks and all that. But I know for a fact that you understand because whenever you do, it's almost like you feel guilty about it, bro. Oh my God, I know, and it's typically like a fire that's happening,
Yeah.
at the moment or whatever, or something that you just ran into somebody that just got it right there. You're trying to get something to go through, but is those boundaries that we do need to disconnect. So that always happens, right? It's not like you with your wife on a romantic dinner and now sometimes I am talking about mortgages, man.
Yeah.
I guess, but yeah, no, we always got to take that time and that time for ourselves, man,
Yeah. The
in a
people have,
major way.
they have to make time for them.
Yeah, and um, there's the next phase that you're getting ready to go into too,
Yes.
down in Panama.
Yes.
You know,
Yeah. That's this is a big part. It's over a year in the making. I took a trip to Panama. And it's not like Panama City, going to the city of Panama, the capital. I'm going up into the mountains. I'm talking about the outskirts, and fall in love with the place. Really, I want to make a really long story short. My wife and I went on vacation to go see a good friend of ours, and we were walking this property, and I was like, "Wow, look at this!" And sure, do you know the property was for sale? It's the first property we purchased, and for our first property we purchased there. And I looked around,
but you didn't go there to buy.
No, we went there. We went there for to relax. I stood on that on top of that mountain. My wife and I, we held hands, and my wife was having dreams of always having this beautiful view, and God talked to her and said, you got to buy this piece of land. Little do you know, I left Panama with a piece of land. And in that process,
And it was because I remember you called me for the credit and all that stuff.
Yeah.
I had to send you. I remember that.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And during all this process of getting that land, I had to go back a couple more times, and I just wasn't. Well, I did a couple of business transactions down there as well, and I had to go back.
Then he argues with me about a bod.
And
it's
it just things that happen when I'm there. I'm there.
Exactly.
And so here we go. I go back there and visit again, and I really wanted something I could put a couple of goats on, and probably put an Airbnb, something that could help us generate some type of income over there.
It was cheap.
They were
Inexpensive.
They were inexpensive. They were
not cheap, but
affordable, more affordable than
affordable.
here.
Yeah.
But if you do the price comparison over there, in Panama, the average hourly wage is between $3 to $5 an hour, right? So if you buy something that's about $30,000, it's like buying something here that's $100 and something. You know what I mean?
Got it. Okay.
So I go back over there, and I'm walking around this property, and it has this stream that goes all the way around it. And I'm like, wow, it has this little waterfall in the back on this paved road, and I walk in the middle of this 6 acres, and I turn around and I'm looking, and I see this beautiful peak, right? And I'm like, wow, this is incredible. And then I have my moment there. I found my serenity. I found my peace. I wasn't with my wife.
Wow.
I was by myself. I ended up buying that property. And I got 6 acres. And this 6 acres I'm doing up there on that mountain, I want to make it, I think we're going to make it. We're going to make it our home. And I'm going there next week. Yeah. When that's going to be my time to hit pause on everything. Yeah. And take a step back.
Like a second vacation home. So we and just real quick, right? Because when you say affordable, you're talking about like affordable as something that while you live here, you can buy over there for like
there's steps
for like your ghetto.
Yes, absolutely. Before I answer that question, I that's not only for me, because once something's set up over there, I'm gonna make it available to my friends and stuff like that.
I'm gonna take you up on that too.
Yeah, well, absolutely. When it's gonna take me like another year or so, to get to where we want to be at, where we want it to be at. But it's a place where
Party at Jose's in Panama.
Yeah. So the goal is to go somewhere where you have no noise.
Mm.
You know, if you could if you could just imagine yourself sitting in the middle of your bed with no noise, your eyes closed. That's the peace I have over there.
When I go, just even kick away the Wi-Fi.
No,
If there's a landline, just leave a landline
Yeah.
with a cord, not even a wireless one, man.
So, but, you know, Wi-Fi, you don't get Starlink, whatever. But when I say complete isolation, I am in complete isolation up there, and the views are spectacular. You know, I have a nice river there, so it's like, you know, it's not like I'm whatever, but you know, it's a nice little town close to a place called La Pintada. So La Pintada, you can look it up on YouTube. I'm close to there. It's an awesome little town.
Awesome, man. So, you know, I guess to kind of like, and we're gonna be halfway documenting the process too, which is awesome. So I'm curious about
you
that.
You know, I'm new to this.
Yeah.
You know, into this world. So something I would like to talk over, you know, with your promotion company and stuff like that, your marketing partners. I would like to set up something over there where it's, you know, I could take 20 minutes a week or whatever, and shoot footage, even if it's just great scenery with the birds, with just taking it in.
That'd be nice. Yeah.
That'd be something that you could probably sit down on the front seat of your car, and if you're going through a stressful day, you could see this view. You could hear the peace.
Is that nice?
You could hear that,
Oh, I can't wait to see that, man. I can't wait to be there.
It's awesome.
But Jose, you know, I thank you, my brother, man. I appreciate you. I appreciate the kind of man you are. Looking forward to our next trip up to Michigan as well when you get back from that. We got a couple of things coming in here and there, man. But just from today's conversation itself, if someone listens to this and remembers one thing about how you approach your life, whether it be real estate, whether it be just your life, with this Panama thing, your children, your wife, your community, one thing like Jose, what that identifies Jose in that, what would the takeaway be? Who do you want them to see here today?
I want them to see, and it's not because you're putting me on the spot and asking me this question, somebody who genuinely cares, somebody who's devoted. You know, I'm devoted to my family. I'm devoted to sobriety. I'm devoted to things that might mean so little to others, but mean so much to me. And right now, you want to know, I'm devoting from next week on, I'm devoting myself to peace and God and Christ.
Yeah. All right. Thank you, brother.
I'll always have Christ, always.
Yeah.
But
no,
things are changing for me.
Got you, brother. Got you.
Well done.
Thank you, man.
Well done, my brothers.